So far so good. Now if everything lines up right, not only will it be the same, but the mounting bracket will be the same. And if that's so, I think this will be the shortest video I've ever made on how to fix something in an RV. I spoke too soon earlier saying this was going to be a quick project. It is not, and has not been. Ooh, this was a bear. Well, hi, it's Jerry with I Love RV Life, and we have this fireplace and heater that is made by Greystone, and we've been using it almost 5 years now. It's a great thing to be able to have on those, cold fall mornings, or right as winter's finishing and you don't want to run that noisy furnace that you have in the RV, and you just want to kind of break the chill. It is absolutely ideal for that. We use it all the time in the cold months, and I think that's probably one of the reasons it went kablooey. Yep, last March, about mid-March, Joan and I were having a cup of coffee one morning and enjoying the heater, and she looked over at me and she said, "Wow, do you smell that? It smells like something's hot and burning." And then boom, all these sparks and everything started flying out of the top of the heater. Scared us to death. By the time I got over to turn it off, it had already blown a fuse. No harm was done, no fire occurred. Could have occurred, but no fire occurred in the RV. But it was scary there for just a few minutes. One of these reasons we never leave this thing running when we're not in the RV. But again, it's a very useful heater. Think of it almost as an electric space heater. I could give or take the ambience that occurs from the fake fire, but the really big thing that we like is that ability to have that 1500 watt heater, or it can be set for 750. And on this Greystone model, it actually had a thermostat that you could set a specific temperature and it would cut off and cut on. And I think all those conveniences that we had was another reason we just used it to death and it just burned up. Well, I have been looking since March, almost 4 months, trying to find a model that was a direct replacement, having quite the time to be able to find something. I ran across eTrailer.com, and if you can't find something on Amazon, you can almost be assured you can find it on eTrailer. They don't carry everything that you might need in your RVing needs, but things like these heaters and other big major devices, I'm finding that they really had a good inventory. Easy to work with, shipped very, very well, and their prices I felt were very, very competitive. So today, I'm going to take out the old heater. I've got the replacement heater, and I don't think this is going to be a big project, but we're really looking forward to having it. We're going to be leaving in a couple weeks. It's still summer, but we won't get back till sometime in November, and I know we are going to get into some cold spots, and I want this heater working. Let me show you how easy it is to replace this thing. This isn't going to be a pretty video. This is going to be a working video. But we're going to do the best we can. This thing is supposed to just lift up and pop out. Of course, there's no such thing as lift up and pop out. And that one is lifting up, but it is not wanting to let go here on this side. Of course, it's not going to let go on this side. There we go. We're getting there. Ooh, it's dusty behind it. So it's still caught on something. Look at that. So I want to lay this thing down. I looked at getting replacement parts for it, and I must share with you, they were virtually non-existent. And I did see replacement parts on others, and by the time you repaired the doggone thing, you were almost at the same price of buying a new one. This was a little over $200, not that bad. This is a heavy thing. Okay, it looks the same. That's good. So far so good. Now, if everything lines up right, not only will it be the same, but the mounting bracket will be the same. And if that's so, I think this will be the shortest video I've ever made on how to fix something in an RV. Wouldn't that be a treat? Yeah, well, all right, no comments. Maybe it won't be a treat. Okay. All right, it weighs probably about 30, 40 pounds, something like that. There we go. And then this, look at that, voila. Okay, I'm gonna now see if this bracket and that is one and the same. I don't think that it is. Oh, and it is definitely gonna mount different. This may be a little longer project than I thought. Well, if you've owned an RV for any period of time, you know that Murphy's Law abounds, right? Even though this is the same model number, since this camper was built sometime late 13, early 14, this bracket has changed for this model. I really like this bracket too, but the new bracket, this one has screws, and there were screw slots in the back of the fireplace to hold it in place, and that's not going to work. So we're going to take this one out and replace it with the other unit. I don't think this is going to be a big project still. And unfortunately, even the mounting of how this has this bar here has changed substantially. I'll show you old and new here in just a second. Let me take this off. This should come off. Voila, like that. Okay, so here's old bracket, and you can see, you know, you have these you see these screws, and it was like a keyhole that these things fit in. Well, new bracket is totally different, and it's supported more on the sides, and it's not going to fit like that. I'm going to have to center it. But this one has these little ears with keys, and that's what it's going to take. So what I'm going to have to do is I've got these newer screws that I'm going to put through. Well, if you tackle this project, I just found the mounting instructions to be useless because it's based on a flush wall mount and not fitting inside here. So what I did is I just put the bracket on, determined where it needed to be, like 1 5/16 inches. There's that. There's that. All right, let's see what Jerry can do here. Okay, these screws here are temporary until I get the other bolts in. And just to kind of show you, so you can see a little bit better with the flashlight. So I'm going to put my bolts in here, and I'll take these screws out, and I'll put the bolts in. So what I'm going to use is just a little 1/4 inch bolt, and I think this will fit just fine. This one in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these large washers and put on the back. This stuff I call RV wood. It's not even wood. It's some kind of vinyl coated, I don't even want to call it MDF. It's almost like cardboard. Not a whole lot to it. I'm afraid with all this back action that happens in the camper when we're going down the road that it's probably going to need all the reinforcement that it can get, or it'll pull through. As a matter of fact, I have got a project I've got to do on the microwave to where one of the bolts is actually pulled through the cabinet, and I've got to fix that. I don't know if I'm going to film that or not. Now, of course, Murphy still hasn't come to rest yet, not in the RV world. If you notice, this plug-in is on this side, and on my other unit the plug-in was on the other side, but I think I've got enough slack that I can put it on this other side without drilling another hole. I'm crossing my fingers that I can do that. And then I've got a good bit of space down here on the bottom that I should be able to deal with. I think that will work. All right, everyone, cross your fingers. This has been, I spoke too soon earlier saying this was going to be a quick project. It is not, and has not been. Ooh, this was a bear. Oh, oh. That's part of it. Is that it? Ha-ha! There we go. It is in there. Look at you! We have fireplace. And we have heat. Look at that. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't too good either. It was a bit more of a project than what I thought it was going to be, but it's done. It's in here and it is, ooh, it's putting out heat. Well, I'll kind of give you a recap of the project. As with any RV project that you tackle, sometimes there are those that are just super, super easy, and you plan for them and you buy the exact same replacement, and several years have passed, and as always, something changes. And that's what happened here. Fortunately, looking at the fireplace that we have here, it looks fantastic. It's an exact replacement. Pretty much. I think the logs are a little prettier, but it's pretty much the same replacement, same size, same width, same depth. The pickle that I got myself into was I had hoped that the old bracket, this is the old bracket right here, I had hoped that it was just going to be pop the old one out and pop the other one in, and I made a comment earlier in the video that said, oh, this is going to be the shortest video ever. Oh boy, did I jinx myself. It was not. Putting in that bracket in that small gap, the instructions were absolutely worthless because the instructions were designed to be able to put flat on a wall. And here I had kind of an alcove that I had to put inside the door. Tons of measuring, tons of measuring. Matter of fact, I didn't even put all the measuring in the video. It would have been just boring as could be, but I had to do it over and over and over and over again until I was sure I just got this thing right. So let me put this in some scale. You know, I would say as far as carpentry skills, you need very little. Being able to use a measuring tape and a drill and just put some bolts in, you know, I would probably give that, you know, maybe about a 5 or 6 on a scale of 10. But the difficulty, which I would probably give an 11 on a 10 scale, the difficulty was the measurement and getting everything to fit just so. It was very tight, very confined. It was really a bit tough to be able to get that in. Results, it looks great. Let me give you one more. On a patience level of about 1 to 10, 10 meaning I have no more patience on this, it got pretty close to being to the end. It really did start wearing thin there toward the end. I thought that I could get it done, but I wasn't sure. Results, here you go. The results are fantastic. It's producing heat, plugged in, works, super happy. Even when I have projects like this, you know what? It's okay. I still love RV life.